All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming live from our Joburg office. Good morning and welcome back to the opening bell with myself, Tshepo and Ashley. And this is brought to you by TD Markets and TD Markets Academy every Mondays to Fridays at 9, streaming live on YouTube. I hope you guys had a good weekend. We are back to business the last week of October. So we're going to have a look at how the markets are reacting in this morning. All right. So we are looking at the cryptos this morning, right? We're looking at the cryptos, a lot of opportunities. We're going to talk about on the cryptos. So we've got Cardano, Solana. We also have Bitcoin and Ethereum. All right. Remember last week, I gave you guys just a brief overview of the fundamentals around crypto. All right. And we are sticking to the same script this week, right? There are a few things that are happening this week, but over and above everything, we stick to the same script. So we've got, like I said, we've got Cardano. We're going to have a look at Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. All right. So let's open up the Cardano chart. Let me see if I can just find it. Just give me a second. Okay, let's start with Solana. All right, there we go. So Solana is the one we didn't speak about last week. All right, we spoke about Cardano. So if you take a look at Solana, it is reacting the same way as Cardano, Bitcoin, Ethereum are reacting, right? There's a recovery that's happening in the markets. The majority of the short positions that were opened during the crash, also last week, the current price action suggests that there's a liquidation of those positions. So meaning those positions are being closed, all right? If you take a look at what's happening. So there is a lot of demand now at the back of the crash, of course. There's a lot of demand. The market is recovering. Traders are taking a risk-on approach, looking at the overall sentiment within the crypto market. The total market cap has gone up again, continues to go up. It has been steadily moving up for the past month, all right, without any major dips in between. You've got your Bitcoin dominance, which is also around 56% towards 57%. You also have the upcoming US interest rates, where traders are betting on a lower rate, right? Traders are betting on the US to cut their interest rates. Also, there's a meeting scheduled to take place between the US president and the Chinese president, or the China president. All right. So traders will definitely keep an eye out for that. But the market is, or not the market, but the sentiment is rather positive this morning. So we're looking at a bullish crypto market today, at least today, and anticipating it will continue for the rest of the week. However, with what I've just said, what's happening, all right, the sell-off that happened, a lot of positions are being closed. Money is rotating back to your Bitcoin, your Ethereum. Institutional adoption is still one of the main drivers. ETF inflows is still one of the main drivers, right? So we are seeing an inflows, right? ETF inflows. So all of these are impacting especially Bitcoin, Ethereum positive. So we're anticipating the market to react positively. All right. So Solana, here is what's important now to you and I. All right. So that crash that happened, it went down to the 61.8. All right. But then overall, you'll notice that the structure is still bullish. Right. This is a bullish structure. So that sell-off didn't actually cause much of a damage in terms of the structure. Although the long positions were liquidated around that time, but overall things did not really change. So that 61.8 is very strong. It's important to you and I on the weekly time frame, and we've seen a solid 2 weeks of bullish momentum. We are now into the third week. All right, but we all know that when price retraces to the 61.8, especially if there is previous structure around that zone, then this area has more weight. And so you're going to see traders looking for strategies around this zone. All right. So this tool is just giving us these areas. So Solana, going to the lower time frame, this one is already moving. It's a pity we didn't speak about it last week. Otherwise, we would have prepared for this move. But we're anticipating price to continue pushing higher back to this high. So this is the area where we're likely going to see price reaching. And if the momentum continues, then we're likely going to see price reaching that area as well. All right. So yeah, so these are the two targets so far that we have on Solana, and yeah, we're anticipating momentum to continue pushing higher. All right. You will notice Cardano is also the same. So Cardano, we spoke about price reaching this high on Cardano last week. All right. The market was trading somewhere here. We said it will push towards the upside. That's where it is at the moment. Now, according to this formation, right, this area is an important area. So if price breaches this one here, if price breaches this high, let me just draw this line like this. If price breaches this zone, right, this resistance, then we're likely going to see it pushing all the way back to that high there, right? So all we need is a break above this zone for us then to work within this range so that we anticipate price to go back there. It's a nice price action because this support here, right, there's a possibility that price can retrace back to the support. It's a possibility. Come and retest this zone before it resumes trading higher, right? But also price can still fly from there. So Cardano looking good for some upside. And Ethereum, look at where it is. Remember when you spoke about this the last time, right? We said it's going up. So this one hasn't changed. There were a lot of traders that thought that this move towards the downside is going to push price all the way down, right? I mean, it was a possibility, right? This move continue pushing to the downside. It was a possibility. However, if you kept an eye on the weekly time frame, you will notice that the market is basically testing this area, right? The market is testing this area. So any movement towards the downside, according to this price formation at the moment, any movements towards the downside will not cause any damage, so for lack of a better word. So this move to the downside, it was just preparing for another structure to push up, right? However, you wouldn't have known exactly how it's going to play out. But the fact that we are from this area suggests that probabilities are high for price to continue pushing towards the upside, all right? So it is moving nicely to the upside. We are about to reach that price level. And once price breaks above that, then we know we're going back to that high. And once price breaks that top, we know we're pushing back all the way up, right? So for now, we just need to break above this zone, which the current price action suggests that there's a higher probability chance we could. And then we will then look at the top. We'll look at the top. All right. So yeah, so Ethereum moving nicely. Keep a very close eye on it. And then you've got Bitcoin, right? And then you've got Bitcoin. There we go. We've reached this high, right? We spoke about price going back to that high. We've reached that high, right? Nice price action. So from here, we're going to have the same approach as your Ethereum, Solana. Should price break above that, then it's likely going to go back to that high, right? It will likely reach that high. So that's what we're looking at now. There could be some retracements in between, right? So, but overall, we're anticipating momentum to continue pushing higher. So this is how Bitcoin is looking, guys. This is how Ethereum, Cardano, Solana is looking. I won't be able to go through the other coins today, but we will definitely do that this week. So keep an eye out on the cryptos. There's a lot of opportunity, especially now. There's a lot of opportunities with what's happening around the world with the cryptos, understanding the sentiment, having things to look at, and understanding how they impact the markets. Just overall improving your interpretation of these things and how they will impact price. So there's lots of opportunities on the crypto. All right. So that's it, guys. That's it for this morning. Keep an eye out on the next episodes of the Opening Bell. We'll have a look at Dogecoin. We'll have a look at Shiba and all the other coins. All right. And also keep an eye on this week's fundamentals. That's it from myself, guys. I'll catch you guys again the next time. Have a good one. Enjoy your day and good luck.